Playa had the perfect formula. Hit songs, famous friends like Aaliyah, Missy Elliott, and Ginuwine, and one of the hottest producers in the game, Timbaland, backing them. But here's what nobody talks about. Their downfall wasn't because of a shady record label or industry politics. No, Playa imploded because of something far messier. Ego, money drama, and one bitter feud so deep it lasted until tragedy struck. So, if they had all the right pieces, why did everything fall apart anyway? Buckle up, because the real story is way crazier than you think. Most fans assumed Playa vanished from the spotlight simply because they didn't get enough love from their label or the industry moved on without them. It's easy to blame Def Jam for shelving their second album and call it another case of a talented R&B group being overlooked, but that's just the surface story. The real tea was hidden behind carefully curated smiles and press releases that made it seem like they were victims of bad timing. But behind the scenes, Playa was a ticking time bomb. From day one, internal cracks were forming, jealousy simmering quietly beneath the surface, ego battles masked by catchy hooks and Timbaland's magic beats. Their smooth image fooled everyone into thinking they were tight, but Smokey, Static Major, and Black were never truly on the same page. And once things started going wrong, those small cracks turned into massive fault lines. So why did they let fans believe it was just the label's fault? Well, admitting that they couldn't stand each other wouldn't exactly make a great headline, especially when you're supposed to be selling love songs. But keeping up that front would cost them everything. Here's the hot take nobody wants to admit. Playa was always destined to crash and burn. Sure, on paper they had it all. Static Major's undeniable songwriting genius, Timbaland's groundbreaking beats, and the Jodeci cosign from Devontae Swing. But underneath all that talent was a cocktail of clashing personalities and simmering resentments. Think about it. From the very beginning, Playa was essentially three solo artists forced together. Static was busy crafting hits like Ginuwine's iconic Pony. Smokey had dreams beyond just singing. And Black was caught in the middle, desperately trying to hold the group together. The problem was, these three were moving in completely different directions, each thinking the others were holding them back. Timbaland's cosign was supposed to be their golden ticket, but instead it just masked the real issue. The group had no solid foundation. Without trust or unity, no amount of hits could fix their deeper problems. Playa wasn't destroyed by the industry, they self-destructed, and the industry just watched it happen. By the early 2000s, Playa was barely holding on. Their debut album, Cheers to You, had given them a taste of success, but things quickly turned sour when their follow-up, Never Too Late, got shelved faster than you could say label drama. Def Jam executives shrugged it off, claiming they didn't get it. Translation? The group wasn't bringing in enough money to justify their headaches. But the real drama? It was internal. And way messier. Smokey publicly spilled the tea, admitting he was dead broke and had to get a real job to feed his family because singing doesn't pay bills, writing and producing does. He openly called out Static and Black for refusing to support him financially or professionally, accusing them of leaving him hanging. Black didn't take that quietly. He fired back, painting Smokey as lazy and uninterested, someone the group constantly had to carry. Static kept mostly silent, letting his booming songwriting career speak louder than any petty interview could. It wasn't just a breakup, it was a full-blown public airing of dirty laundry, with hurt feelings and bruised egos on full display. Fans wondered where their favorite group went, while behind the scenes, Playa was tearing itself apart over checks, pride, and lost opportunities. The second album's shelving wasn't the cause, it was just the final straw. Now, every R&B group has beef. Comes with the territory, right? But Playa's feud wasn't your typical shouting match backstage or passive-aggressive subtweets. No, their drama turned ice-cold silent. After their final tour wrapped, Smokey literally stopped talking to Static Major entirely. Radio silence. Not a word, not a text, nothing. You'd think after years grinding together, they'd at least fake it for appearances. Nope. Smokey started his own label, Bittersweet Entertainment, snagged a Grammy working on Drake's Take Care, and basically told the industry, I don't need Playa anymore. Meanwhile, Black drifted away into his own solo projects and even joined a gospel group, turning to Jesus instead of drama. Static? He doubled down on songwriting, dropping hits for everyone from Aaliyah to Pretty Ricky, silently proving he didn't need them either. But here's the kicker. Nobody was winning. They weren't proving each other wrong. They were just isolating themselves further, each member pretending the other didn't exist. And tragically, it stayed that way until 2008, when a shocking event forced them to confront the damage they'd done. Static Major passed away suddenly at just 33 years old due to medical complications. What was supposed to be a wake-up call turned into another painful chapter, revealing the harsh reality that sometimes feuds end not in forgiveness, but regret. When Static Major tragically passed at just 33, you'd think his untimely death might finally mend the wounds between Smokey and Black. Instead, it reopened old scars and shattered any hope of reconciliation. Static was at the peak of his career. He'd just penned Lil Wayne's Grammy-winning smash hit, Lollipop, and was putting finishing touches on his debut solo album. His talent was undeniable, but his sudden loss forced the music industry and his former groupmates to realize how many opportunities Playa had wasted. In the wake of Static's passing, fans briefly got excited about a possible tribute album, imagining Smokey and Black finally putting their differences aside for the sake of honoring their lost friend. But guess what? Those old grudges were just too deep. Instead of coming together, they drifted further apart, leaving the tribute album nothing but an empty promise. Static's death should have reminded them what really mattered. Instead, it highlighted how pride, bitterness, and ego had robbed them of their legacy. Playa had the talent, the connections, and the perfect timing, yet they let it all slip away, leaving behind only the haunting question, what if? Just when fans thought Playa was permanently laid to rest? Surprise! Smokey and Black resurfaced in 2018, popping up as brand new members of the legendary R&B group Dru Hill. Yeah, you heard right. Playa joined Dru Hill. Fans were excited, confused, and skeptical all at once. Was this really a fresh start or just another ticking time bomb? Spoiler alert, it didn't exactly go smoothly. Within months, Dru Hill was hit with more drama than a reality TV reunion special. First, Tao exited after feuding with other members. Then Nokio said peace out, opting to spend time with family instead of dealing with another round of drama. By the end of 2020, what was left of Dru Hill looked suspiciously like Playa, with Cisco tagging along for good measure. So what did they do? Rebrand again, of course. Dru Hill officially became Smoke and Black Dragon, leaving fans wondering, is this Dru Hill? Playa 2.0, or just another messy chapter in an endless cycle of drama? Instead of finally stepping back into the spotlight, Playa was stuck repeating history, overshadowed once again by lineup changes, beef, and a stubborn refusal to learn from the past. So where does all this drama leave the members of Playa today? Smokey's hustle paid off, thanks to his record label Bittersweet Entertainment, producing hits and snagging that Grammy with Drake. He's sitting pretty at around $2 million. Not bad for someone who once claimed he had to get a real job to pay the bills. Digital Black found his groove away from mainstream R&B, diving deep into gospel music. He stayed low-key, and his pivot to faith-based projects has netted him around $1 million. Respectable, sure, but not exactly the superstar trajectory he might have dreamed of. Static Major, even though he passed away tragically young, left behind a songwriting legacy that continues to bring royalties to his estate. His timeless hits like Pony and Lollipop keep his family comfortable, with his catalog estimated to have earned several million since his passing. But the real question, what will Playa be remembered for? Sadly, not just the smooth vocals or their brief chart success. Instead, their legacy became a cautionary tale. How egos, bitterness, and unresolved drama can sabotage even the most talented groups. In 2025, Playa stands as a reminder that having talent is never enough if you can't keep your house in order. Playa had every advantage an R&B group could ever dream of: chart-topping hits, legendary producers, industry connections, and undeniable talent. But here's the raw truth. Playa didn't vanish because of bad luck, bad timing, or bad labels. They vanished because egos got bigger than their hits, resentment overshadowed their brotherhood, and pride was louder than their music. They had it all and lost it all, simply because they couldn't put their issues aside. Maybe that's the biggest tragedy of all. Playa wasn't destroyed by the music industry, Playa destroyed Playa. And that's something even the hottest beats and smoothest vocals can't fix.